Welcome to the Golden Experience. I have on my show today, as I always say, I have somebody on my show today. This is Solomon Parham.
Yes.
Solomon. I'm helping Solomon. Solomon is a client right now, and he is coming from Minnesota. However, that's not the juicy part. That's not the part we're going to talk about. We're going to talk. Well, we actually are.
Yeah.
But you're from the D.
I'm from the D.
Talk to me, man. I like from the D. Where'd you grow up?
Here we go. Ooh.
All of that.
All right. Man, journey started over on Fenmore, 7 Mile, Southfield Freeway area, loop-de-loo, a lot of journeying. Ended up on Stopel, 6 Mile in Livernois.
6 Mile is dope.
Yeah, right there. So, went to Fitzgerald Elementary, Post, when it was open, Post Middle School, and Mumford High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did you do after high school? So.
Well, before high school, I need to talk about that.
Okay.
If you want to check out the Solomon Parham thing on YouTube, it's TPT in Minnesota. It's a PBS station. They did a story on me about my life, and I ended up actually working at a barbershop on 6 Mile. Yeah, it's right there at the top. Ended up working at the barbershop, Joseph's Barbershop, and he was like my dad, and he did a real good thing for me coming into my youth. Got to meet several people. Got 2 godfathers. One godfather played for the Detroit Lions, Hall of Famer Lynn Barney, and my other godfather, Levi Stubbs, God rest his soul, one of the lead singers for the Four Tops. So that was what my barbershop life was, introduced to music.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be a barber. Old man was like, no, you're going to be a musician.
Okay.
So I was a shoe shine boy,
Uh-huh.
raised money, got the bread. They showed me how to spit game and run game and all of what it took to be a shoe shine person back in the 80s.
Living in Detroit as a hustler.
You better realize that. So it worked out. Met a lot of people. Journeyed, trumpet lessons, Herbie Williams, Marcus Belgrave, Bill Lucas. Billy Horner. Yeah, and also Lucas for the DSO. But HBCU, Kentucky State University, finished, came back, taught Martin Luther King High, Plymouth, then transitioned up to Lansing, taught there. And then after that, in 2007, here we are. The real journey, part 2 began.
Part 2.
Yeah.
So I thought I heard you say trumpet, right?
Trumpet.
Why the trumpet over another instrument?
This is the truth. Back in the day, I wanted to play piano, keyboard. So the trumpet back in the day was something you can like take if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So I found a trumpet, and it was my cousin's, and I kind of like used his horn when he wasn't using it, and that's the polite story, PC version of it, because my aunt found out. Long story short, the trumpet was by default of curiosity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. And so you're in Minnesota, or you're in Minnesota trying to get back to the D.
Yes. I got there in 2008.
Okay. 2008. What took you out to Minnesota? Like, you know, we say we going down south. We going to Florida. You was like, I'm going to Minnesota.
No. No. That was just a straight up blind Russian roulette career choice. And it wound up being, I lived in Milwaukee.
Okay.
And it wasn't a good choice. That was a choice. And I thought that'd be cool. Bad choice.
You said that was a bad choice.
Left there in 6 months. Went to Minnesota by way of recommendation, close friend Aaron Kippeler.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good. You know, I got there. It was different. It was all white. Like, I even asked where the black folks at. You know? And I was told I was going to have a hard time finding someone like me there, you know. So it was a good gig. It worked out where the job was fulfilling, to some degree, but then again, I'm a real musician.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm a teacher. And it's like my cups wasn't being filled.
Mm.
So I made some achievements, and here we are. I'm back. I'm trying to come back home because the real deal is here.
Gotcha. Ain't nothing like Detroit.
For real.
Y'all got Coney Island in Minnesota?
No, man.
What? Man, hold on, man.
No corned beefs either.
What?
You ask for a corned beef, they'll give you the middle school thin version. So
Cafeteria joints?
So less than that. You ask for a double, they give you a double. It's like two thin ones put together. So, yeah. I haven't had a corned beef sandwich. I got to come here to get a corned beef sandwich.
No Coney dogs?
None of that. No Coney, no Better Maize. Fago just made it out there. Verner's just made it out there in the past 7 years.
What do you have other than Verner's? Canadian Dry or something?
I don't even, let me see here. Oh, my God. They got a ginger ale. It escapes my mind, but it's not
It ain't
Verner's.
Swart Sugar.
No, I don't rock that. But
Sweppers.
Nah.
Swoops, whatever that is.
Okay,
all right.
It ain't
so,
Verner's.
So it ain't like, it's not home.
No, it's
it's
not
not
home.
Detroit. Anything, ain't nothing open 24 hours?
I think the stores close, the liquor store closed maybe at 10.
What? Well, that's not unusual for suburbs out here. The city, Dave.
No, we're talking about the city. I only lived in the city.
Oh, okay.
So it's 10 o'clock maybe. Clubs close around maybe midnight, close to midnight.
What?
Maybe close to midnight.
Man, in the days when I was doing that, I didn't get to the club until 10:30.
No. It's 12 o'clock sharp, everybody gone. Clear. Clear, you can, yeah.
Yeah, you need to come back home,
Yes,
bro.
indeed.
We got to get you back here.
Indeed.
So back home, musician. So what's some of the on your musicianship, your journey?
Mm-hmm.
What's some of the things you've done? So, well, let me start here. You come back. You got a gig. I hate to say gig, but you're going to be instructing at one of the local high schools, University High School. Is that correct?
Indeed.
Yeah. And what are you going to be doing there? And what are you going to be teaching the kids?
I'll be teaching instrumental band to the middle school students,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll also be teaching digital music and media arts to the high school students. So making tracks, learning how to route a signal, and essentially engineer music via games, soundtrack, or analog acoustics.
Mm-hmm. Is that something that the young people can pursue after high school? Like, what's the trajectory of someone who wants to go in there? What can they get into? What's the possibility? What are the opportunities there for them to get in that particular type of thing?
So working in music is you can be a sound developer.
Uh-huh.
You can develop a sound, and that can be used as a palette for keys, keyboarding, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got sound development, you got DJs, you got your composer, singer, songwriter. You got your mixing engineer. The career paths now are like the career paths to go into. Everybody's playing video games.
Yeah.
So the music that goes with those video games,
Yeah.
that's a career.
Yeah.
There are people that
Wow.
are strictly making video game music.
Music for video games.
Yeah.
That's all they do.
That's a 6-figure gig. Easy. If you know how to make the music.
Right.
That's it, right?
Right.
Because you got to think we live in a visually stimulated society.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got good music to accompany that, you're really winning. This show, you can have music that you can showcase.
Yeah.
Right? Some people can get spins and
Uh-huh.
things of that nature, but it's a more vast terrain than it used to be,
Uh-huh.
and it's very substantially lucrative now.
Oh.
Soundtracks for movies,
Yeah. Yeah. We are familiar with those.
even more so now.
What's the best movie soundtrack you've ever heard, or at least one that sticks with you like the most, or just kind of influenced you?
Man, that's
I know it's a lot of them, man.
ooh, man. If I say what I want to say,
Go ahead and say it.
all right, I'm gonna have to say
Blazing Saddles.
it's
I'm just kidding.
For me,
Uh-huh.
it's Mo Better Blues.
Mo Better Blues, yeah.
Because I'm a trumpet
If
player.
I can
Right.
understand that.
Mo Better Blues and what it represented.
Yeah, okay.
And part of the vibe and the history that went along with all that,
Uh-huh.
I can identify with that.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I remember Mo Better
Mo
Blues.
Better Blues.
Was that a lot of the original scores, or
Oh yeah. So what happened was my mentor and friend Terrence Blanchard.
Uh-huh.
He composed the music for the soundtrack,
Uh-huh.
and there were some other people involved. Spike Lee's father was also involved in this. Wynton Marsalis. There was a cast. Branford Marsalis, a cast of people, but typically it was Terrence Blanchard. So that was his work, and it stood out to me.
That's what's up. That is what's up. And so do you have any releases, any albums, anything that you got going on?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Album
brother.
coming out. Forward. That's the name of it. It's gonna be. I'm gonna drop it when I return. It's been a labor of love as a result of this pandemic. And I was supposed to come here about 2 years ago. So the whole album was kind of born out of that. And it took about almost 2 years for it, but the musicians, most of them are here, the Detroit-based musicians. And I've been just fortunate to have a cast of cats to work with. But yeah, it's coming out. I'm going to drop it in November, hopefully.
That's good. That's what's up. All right, so I want to I'm going to ask you this too. Going back to the schools and kids, how we teach music is obviously changing.
I'm just trying to look up some. You said schools. I'm going to make sure I gave you answer to my
Go ahead. Schools is music is changing. We get into digital production, music for video games, all that. What you said. When we talk about playing instruments, is there a lack thereof of kids wanting to play an instrument now? And because it's such a video game era, I want to get, you can produce, my boy has produced whole tracks
on his phone.
Right here on his phone. Do you think that takes away from real musicianship?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I had a chance to work with, meet and work with a couple of people in the world. One was Herbie Hancock. When I met Herbie, I asked him how many instruments could he play. He said 2. I didn't know he had another one. That's why I asked the question, right? He said, it's the Mac, the computer in my keyboard. He said, you have to understand that what's happening here is the other side, is the other half of the heartbeat. I didn't want to fully believe it because I was somewhat of a purist.
Yeah.
So it took a friend of his, Donald Byrd from Detroit, Michigan, trumpet player. And God rest his soul, good man also mentored me. He just told me straight up, you want to get into what's happening now because that's the conduit that this is going to flow through. It's the channel, the medium. So to answer your question, there's some acoustic things lost in the digital world. But if you know what you're doing, the characteristics of the acoustic aesthetic will make it through. If you know how to actually perform, create the music, and have it have a sense of humanism. In the music.
That's what I was getting at, the humanism about it, and not being electronic. Because when I think of jazz, when I think of horns, trumpets, bass, piano, the old Coltrane quartets or quintets is what I think jazz is. Not, and I know this is controversial. That track stuff, that ain't jazz to me. That's my personal opinion.
Right.
My personal opinion.
And it's not. It's not jazz.
That's not jazz.
But let's be real about what jazz is. Jazz is a word that was assigned to the music we came up with. By people that don't look like us.
Gotcha.
So, Black American music or Black American improvised, because improvised music is jazz.
That's what I thought jazz was.
Well, yeah, it is. It's that.
Yeah.
But tracking, if it's using a certain rhythm, a certain instrument, and if there's any ebb and flow of time, meaning constant pace, right, tempo, if it's fluid and not static, not stable, not, in one time, like the BPM is 90, the Black American aesthetic will come through. You'll hear the slow down, the speed up. You'll hear that. You're right. It's not, tracking is not jazz. However, there's a artist that passed away, God rest his soul, James Yancey, J Dilla. He sampled jazz albums and came up with the hottest music the world has ever heard. You understand?
Yeah.
He's from here. He's from Michigan. So, and he tracked, right? And how he tracked had humanism in it.
Okay.
So to help you understand and feel the vibe of the humanism in that tracking environment, you may want to check out Dilla, because Dilla is like next to John Coltrane when it comes to jazz and the Smithsonian. We got to keep in mind that where you are, I was there. But as a musician, it was harder for me to get to hear, right?
Yeah.
It was much harder because I'm a music purist. Trumpet.
Yeah.
But now I'm using synthesis, and I'm coupling it together.
And it can still be human. Because that's what I want to hear the air going through the instrument. The slide on the strings. That's somebody doing it.
Oh yeah, that world is happening. World, we're here now with it.
Yeah, and you for me, I can whatever the emotion that person has in the instrument of that time, that improvisation, even if the song is that, it's going to be different every time you play it, depending on the emotion.
Of course.
You see what I'm saying? And you, I guess the magic or the gift of talent is to have the digital world have you feel it through the digital world too.
Yeah, once you it's we're here. What you would like to see is here. Is just that what you're probably hearing is the sound choices. They call them sound libraries. Like for example, violins. You got 5 companies, and only one of them have the best violin sound because they sampled a real violinist. So when you play it on the piano, it's like, dude, who's the violinist? That's me playing the keyboard. But the other 4 companies don't sound as good because they use an algorithm in synthesis to cause it to have this plastic sound. And that's where you're probably getting more, pushed away from the original sound. But when you use real people, really doing it, and it being tracked, it pleases you. So that's the world you probably want to lean toward. They have a lot of producers that's actually addressing that now. So the music is sounding more toward what you prefer versus what it was even 15 years ago.
Okay. So who are some of the, I know you mentioned your mentor, and you mentioned Herbie Hancock and some others. Who would you say else you were influenced by?
My first influence for music was Tom Brown, trumpet player, Jamaica Funk, the guy who wrote Jamaica Funk.
Jamaica Funk.
Yeah, Tom
That's
Brown.
what it is.
Yeah, man. And that would be my number one go-to sound. Like number one, not even Louis Armstrong, even though I was supposed to say that.
You're supposed to say that?
Yeah, because if you're a trumpet player, you're supposed to say, oh, it's Louis Armstrong. But for me, it was Jamaica Funk, Tom Brown, because he had the sound. So you check out this album called Brown Sugar. You don't have to. Yeah, you'll hear for yourself. Brown Sugar.
Brown Sugar. Yeah. But wait a minute, we missing one big guy. Come on, man.
For my taste on trumpet, it would be Terrence Blanchard.
Miles?
Trumpet, Terrence. I just did a Miles tribute.
Okay.
And I knocked it out the ballpark, but I guess what I hear and feel and think leans different. Miles is hot. Like I had to learn Miles was hot. I didn't know that. I didn't know why. Right? I had to learn why. And but what struck me first was Tom Brown, and then what the unique thing was Terrence Blanchard, because he was truly rapped in his own voice, unapologetically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Terrence Blanchard.
Yeah,
all right.
man.
That's what's up, man. Anything else you want to hit on, bro? I know how to get you back, man.
Yeah, that was I want to make sure I say this. There was a motivational speaker. When you think of motivational speakers, who comes
E.T. right now, Eric Thomas.
I'm talking about from back in the day.
Oh, Les
Brown. So
he's still doing it.
So this is what I wanted to say. When you asked me that question, I wanted to answer it with Les Brown being number one before Tom Brown.
Okay.
Because he taught me about the white heat burning desire. He came to Fitzgerald Elementary back when I was a kid, 79, right? And spoke to the class. And talked about the hottest heat, the hottest color of heat. What does it look like? And kids are raising their hand, orange, blue, purple, red. And no one said white. And the white heat desire is what he taught us to have, because the core illuminates and turns into those other colors. So you need to have a burning desire at the core of you that illuminates. So if I had to talk about my first influence, period, to have motivation, it would be Les Brown. That's how my eyes were probably open to Tom Brown. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah. That's all I have. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you coming on, man. Yo, thank y'all for watching, man. This has been the Golden Experience again, sponsored by Blind Lion Apparel. Check out Blind Lion Apparel on Instagram. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.